So it's all about commissioning new music. If you want to commission something for your band and actually having a successful commission that works for you and your ensemble, it sounds really good, sounds flashy, everything should be fine, all right? And this is a lot of guidelines that you need to follow. So first off, you have to know your band's strengths, okay? Do you have like the ensemble to pull off a commission? For example, like some of the things that we're going to talk about are, you know, what strengths do you have in particular sections? You know what I mean? How strong are your sections? What are the best ranges for your sections? Do you have instrumentation limitations? I know some of the LGBA groups don't have a lot of instrumentation and whatnot. They still want to commission a piece, so you have to be very forthright. You have to have a come to Jesus moment and tell this composer that you're doing. And then what grade levels work best for your piece, and how do you do with first off, do you have enough rehearsal time between your delivery time and your premiere? Do you have enough the grade levels that gel well with your group? So you do some grade 4, but it's too hard. You want to do grade 3. You have to be able to communicate this a lot, okay? Choosing your composer wisely, right? A lot of people are like, I want to commission Eric Whitaker for your piece. I want to commission Eric Whitaker for my piece. Well, guess what? Eric Whitaker used to charge $15,000 to start, right? And so the thing is, there's lots of things that you need to consider. For example, is your composer accessible? Do they only write challenging music? John Mackey writes a lot of really, really hard music, right? Do they have experience composing for every grade level? Do they have a very broad repertoire? You know, you have to do a lot of research when you're looking at it. And a lot of us know composers, so you can go to them and you can ask them questions directly. Are your composers overworked? Do they deliver, do they have enough time to deliver flexibility? Is your choice constantly overbooked? I've dealt with marching band directors who are constantly dealing with overbooked composers and they always deliver late, okay? There's also, you want to make sure that you can afford to commission. Very often we budget X amount of money aside, and as a composer, a lot of us can be flexible, and we'll get into that. But the thing is, for the most part, I just give you examples. For example, I talked about Eric Whitaker. Julie Giroux. If you want to commission Julie Giroux for a piece, you charge $2,000 to $3,000 per minute of music, right? Rosanna Galante and I charge about $1,000 a piece. Some composers charge less, some composers charge more. What budget do you do? You don't come with them and say, I have this stuff, right? They will very often work with the budget that you have in hand, especially if they're really passionate about the work that you're doing. But that's not always the case, right? You have to be realistic about how much money that you have, how much money you raise for every time. And the thing is, at the same time, you see, you got to want to know what you want, okay? You have to want to know what you want from your composer. You have to know the right questions to ask. So the very first thing that you really need to do, again, another come to Jesus moment, and just figure it out. What do you want, right? Do you want a specific style piece? Do you want a different kind of, do you want some composers who write in one specific style and you want something different? You want to challenge them? Like I talked to Rosano, hey, let's do this kind of piece. I don't get to write that kind of stuff often. I want to do that now, right? So again, what kind of style of music do you want? What is your desired length of music do you want? When do you need it, right? Have you considered a consortium? When you call up all your other friends and say, hey, let's all put in together and get our names on this one score. That's a really good idea. Also, be patient. Don't bug them left and right. Cut off. I thought it was, okay, so I thought I timed it right so it would do double time each slide, but apparently it didn't work.
We can keep talking if you like.
Okay, we'll time it. So anyway, but as you can see, I actually totally set aside questions for Q&A. Have you guys ever commissioned pieces before? Like anybody looking to commission pieces, right? Have any of this information been handy for you, right? You have to be specific, and the best way to do it, talk to a composer. You know lots of them. How many LGBA composers are in this room right now? Gwen, where's Scott? Where's Lee? I couldn't hear.
Well, raise our hands on their behalf.
Right. So the thing is, the best way to get this information and for it to apply to what you need, talk to us, right? We are accessible. I get lots of questions all the time. Do your best to communicate. And if you got a composer in mind, Lee has all kinds of composers working on this conference, right? Talk to him, talk to local composers, that kind of stuff. We need the work just as much as everybody else. We like the work. We like to work with our colleagues. Call us up. We're available. Good?